This episode brought to you by Project Dashboards in One Day. Sign up for upcoming classes at academy.tumbleroad.com.
Hi, this is Trev, and today we're going to be talking about bubbles. No, not the kind you used to use as a child, or these types of bubbles. No, we're talking about bubble charts today. If you've never used a bubble chart for visualization, I'm going to take you through the process of explaining what is a bubble chart, when is it appropriate to use a bubble chart, and also how to create one in Power BI. So stick around and we'll take you through the process.
So what are bubble charts anyway? So typically when we do charts, we see something like this, where we've got two axes. We have an x-axis and we have a y-axis. And generally we have some value here, maybe cost, or counts, but we have something here. And then maybe we're looking at it over time. So in this case, we could have, years, we could have months, we could have any number of divisions here. And then what we're doing is we're basically plotting the intersection between the two values to see perhaps what we're spending over time, that sort of thing. And we usually wind up with something like this, where we're looking for a pattern. But what if there was a way for us, or a need for us, to compare three things at once? How would we do this? Well, let's take a look. So in this case, we're going to have, again, our axes. We'll still have our y and our x. And in this case, I'm going to do something a little different. So here I want to map risk versus reward, because maybe I'm looking at my project portfolio. And really what I'm trying to do is make sure that I'm investing in low risk, high reward items, or at least, have spread my spend enough around where I can see that I'm making a good bet here and there. So the thing is, we want to focus on really the bottom here. But instead of making small dots where, okay, here's how we have our projects, what if we were able to use the size of the dot to represent cost? And that is the bubble. So if we color this in, so maybe in this case that's a medium, maybe this is a small one, maybe this is a really big project that we've got over here. And again, we're using the size of the dot to represent a value, so that if I come up here and I see I've got a really big dot up here in the high risk, low reward category, that's a project I'm going to have to take another look at, because that's not where we want to be spending. We really want to be out here on the bottom right side. And so if I've got big dots out here, and again I'm hand drawing these so they aren't quite round, then this is a good thing. And that's what I'm looking for, is just to get a relative idea of where I'm spending money in relation to reward and risk. And so that is the essence of a bubble chart. So next we're going to show you how to actually set this up and build it in Power BI. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and create a bubble chart. So where we are right now is we are on the report design surface within Power BI Desktop. And if you look up here under visualizations, there's something that looks kind of bubblish, which is the scatter chart, which is the basis for a bubble chart. So we're going to go ahead and click that, and this is going to add the visualization to the canvas. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and resize this. And we're going to use some data that we're getting from Project Online, where the instance that was set up happens to have total benefits, total cost, and a risk index, which is perfect because that's what we want here. So given this, we're going to go ahead and we're going to start dragging this into our spots here so that we can start building out our bubble chart. So we did total cost into the y-axis, x-axis is total benefits, and now we're going to look at the size based on the risk ID. If it would drag it in there, there we go. And what that does at this point is just give us one really big dot, which isn't very helpful because we need to break it up by the individual projects. So in order to do that, we can either drag in project name, which is right here, into the details, which what this will do is basically break everything out into separate bubbles, but notice they're all the same color. We could have also put it into the legends field, which would then give us the ability to distinguish what the individual projects are. But I think for the purposes of what we're doing here, we're going to go ahead and put this back in details. And so now the small dots are the low risk, medium is the medium risk, and the large dots are the high risk projects. And overall, you can see the overall layout of cost versus benefit versus risk of your entire portfolio. If you've enjoyed this video, please pass it on to your coworkers, and we hope to see you next week with our next episode.